we'll at least kind of get into this and get started on it, and then at least we're sort of ahead of the game, so that Tuesday we can play with some more stuff, and then we can hit on any of the things that maybe you guys wanted to go back and do. I know, Renee, you were saying you wanted to do some other things as well. All right. Okay. So when we're talking about some of our different systems here, so remember when we talked about 1 foot, so we can either write it like this or have the 1 ticky, right? 1 foot equals 12 inches. Okay, and I'm going to put this in for Poku as well, right? That, remember, 1 dash equals feet, 2 dashes equals inches. Okay. So when we're converting, so if I have 4 feet, right, in inches, it's essentially saying 4 times 12, right? Because remember we said from, how did I word that before? Feet to inches is multiply. Feet to inches equals multiply. Sometimes my left-handedness gets in the way. Equals multiply. And then inches to feet equals divide. Okay? So that's how we bounce back and forth between inches and feet, right? And kind of again back to that decimal feet, decimal inches kind of deal. Okay? So if I wrote this, 60 inches, or let me write it this way to get you guys used to it, 60 inches equals how many feet? Remember, inches to feet, we divide. Right, so it's going to be, yep,
5 feet.
5 feet, right? 60 divided by 12 equals 5 feet. And you got to pay attention to these inches and feet when you're converting and calculating. Okay, let's try. So this is kind of reviewing a little bit from something we were doing the other day. Let's try 6 feet, or sorry, 3 feet, 6 inches. Okay, and I want you to turn that into inches. All of this into inches. All right, and I'm going to walk you through the first one. So essentially, we can turn this, into a decimal foot first, right? Do you guys remember how to do that? So we know that it's going to be 3 point something decimal feet, right? So 3 is already taken up. We're going to deal with the inches. How do we turn inches into feet? We divide it. So I'm going to take 6 and divide it by 12. You should get 0.5, right? Half an inch, or half a foot. And put my little guy there, right? So now this is something I can easily put into my calculator. Are we following so far?
Yeah.
Okay? Because remember, this is all stuff that I can read on my tape measure. I can read 3 feet and 6 inches. Right? But I can't really calculate that properly, so I'm going to put it into a decimal foot. Then I can change this into inches. Right? So again, feet into inches. Now I multiply. Right? So sorry, I'm going to go like this. Multiply by 12. Right. And I should get 42 inches. Don't forget to put those inches, those 2 tickies. Right? And if I was hollering this out to somebody, I would never holler out, "Hey, go cut me a 3'6" inch or 3'6" piece of lumber." I would say 3.5. Cut me 3.5 feet. Right down here. It's a lot easier and quicker and more understood to say, "Cut me 3.5 feet." Right? Most people know that the half of a foot is 6 inches. Right? 42. Yelling out inches sometimes is just easier for some folks. It's clearer than saying 3 feet 6 inches. It's just easier to say one set of numbers. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So instead of me hollering out, "Hey, Renee, can you go cut me a board that's 3 feet 6 inches long?" I would just say, "Hey, Renee, can you go cut me a 42-inch piece of board?" Right?
Yeah. Make more sense, and it makes more sense just to say one number.
Yeah.
In 1 minute.
Yes. And normally when you pull, and I said I was going to bring my tape measure out. Shoot. It's easier because when you pull open a tape measure, they tend to give you all the inches clear as day, and then the feet, they'll either have them marked in, say, like red. Every foot's marked as red, right? But yeah, inches are always the easiest ones to quickly capture. So try this one out for me. I'm going to give you 2 separate ones here. I'm going to say, try out 7 foot 9 inches. Okay, and I want you to convert that into just inches. Okay, and then try out this one as well. Let's go from inches into feet. So try 56 inches into feet. Or let me write that, feet. Okay, so give those 2 a try, and I'm going to pause the video for a moment.
Construction math.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of wild. I tend to forget that if you're not using this type of stuff on a daily basis, it's easy either to lose it or not know it at all, right? Because there's a lot of folks. Yeah. We may have learned this back in high school or what have you, but most of
when it comes to math, we relate nothing to it.
Yep, and that's why I always had a problem with math going through school. It to me was just a bunch of numbers they were throwing at you.
Yeah.
There was nothing, it wasn't clicking because it's like I had nothing to relate it to. And then as soon as getting into carpentry, into construction in general, it was it was such a wild feeling. Like everything was just connecting. Because now I can have it tangible in my hands, right? And if this had been like an in-person class, I would have had us out measuring like things in the classroom and doing everything that way, and it would have been a lot more easier. Exactly, in your hands. I mean, I even suggest that if over the course of the weekend, if you guys got a tape measure kicking around at home, pull it out, take a look at it. Like that's something Pat kind of told me, that when he was first getting into construction, He was at home with a tape measure measuring everything. He's running around the house measuring all kinds of stuff and then trying to do the converting, right? Especially if you've got a tape measure that has the feet and the inches kind of labeled out and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely take a look at those over the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Let me write another one out for you guys. Turn this into inches for me. Let's go, and I'm going to call this one number 3. Let's take I'm going to say 3 feet. Whoop, that looked like 2 tickies. I'm just trying to make one big one. 3 foot 5 inches. And I want you to turn that into inches for me. And then let me find you one in inches. If I had my tape, I'd actually throw out some other ones here. Well, let's go with, oh, okay. And then try this one. Go turn 221 inches into feet. All right, I'm going to put this on pause for a quick second. Say that again, Poku.
How did you know that was +5?
Up here?
Yeah, because I subtracted it. Was
Oh.
it because I seen...
you were looking at this.
This whole time, when you're writing it, it's 3 feet 5 inches.
Yes.
Into inches.
Yes.
Oh, I'm thinking 3 feet minus 5 inches.
Oh, no. Yeah, this is just how we were taught to write it.
It's N. I think that minus sign is N.
Yep, I kind of like how you're saying that there, Renee. So yeah, so think about it maybe this way, Poku, is this little dash is 3 feet and 5 inches.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
But see, it's these
I
little...
got 31 and I seen you got 41, so I'm like, how did I get that wrong?
Yes, but it's these little nuances that I like that you vocalize it. Right?
Yeah.
Because, yeah, this is an easy mistake that other people have done before. And, you know, again, it's just me assuming, right? And in this case, assuming made mostly an ass of me. Right? You know that whole thing? To assume makes an ass of you and me. Yeah. So the way then I did this one, Poku, is that I actually did it Renee's way this time. Instead of pulling it into that decimal foot.
That's exactly how I did it too.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And actually, to be quite honest, that I think was actually a little faster. A little faster and a little easier. Right? So I just pretended the 5 wasn't there for now. And I went 3 feet. Remember, feet to inches. Yep. Multiplied that by 12. Got 36. Then now that that's an inch, I can add inches and inches together. Right? Yeah. So it kind of comes down to when, and we're going to get into this on Tuesday, when we're adding and subtracting like feet and inches. We have to make sure that we're watching these inches and feet, right? Because I can't just add 3 feet and 36 together. I can't just go 36 plus 3. I'm not going to get the right answer. I have to pay attention to what value, essentially, I guess it's being given. Is it a feet or is it inches? So again, it's kind of like the apples to apples thing again. We like our fruit in math.
Yeah, it helps with understanding.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
So when I got down here to the 221, inches. Remember, inches to feet, we divide. So 221 divided by 12, in my calculator, I got 18.416666667, but this is now a decimal foot, right? Decimal foot. So I'm going to drop that 18 down because that's my full or whole number, and then I'm left with this guy right here.
Okay.
I times
so you
that.
Just round that. Oh, you times it by.
Yep. I times it by 12. I got 14.9. This little dot, by the way, means repeating. So that 9 will go on forever and ever. But essentially, and by the way, this, if anybody knows Clifton Donegal, right? He came up with this, round up. Right? So 4.99999 repeating is essentially 5 inches. Okay, and I'll show you even how I did that in my calculator. So I went 221 divided by 12. There's that 18.4166667, right? 18 is my full feet, so I'm just going to get rid of that out of my calculator by just minusing the whole number. So minus 18.
By 18? Okay.
Yep, just so that I'm left with the decimal. It's just a time saver, that's all.
Yeah.
Right? Instead of trying to write down this whole decimal, then clearing my calculator, and then trying to punch it in again, it's just quicker this way. So now I'm left with the decimal that I have to try and figure out. Well, this is a decimal foot, remember. Remember, feet to inches, we multiply by 12. So, times 12, and there's that 4.99999 repeating. Essentially, we round that up to 5 inches, right? And there it is there. Now we can check and see if this is going to be right, if it's going to give us 221 by just doing everything reverse again. So we can do it the fast Renee way, right? 18 times 12, right, feet to inches, 216. Now I'm going to add that 5 back onto it, 221 inches. All right? So there's always a way to double check it. You just kind of reverse back. How'd you guys feel about that tonight?
Feel good, understand. Yeah, because this doesn't come easily, but tonight I understand.
Good. Oh, that makes me happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good stuff. Alrighty, I'm going to